I'm so happy to bring Lígia Costa. We met, I don't know, about 7 years ago, probably. We are both Portuguese, but she isn't living in Portugal for some years now. And we met in the online space. We had at the time, we had other business, and I had my second one. This is my third one, and at the time I met her, she had one, and then she switched also. So we are going to talk about changing business transition, changing paths, and all around this, the mindset, the feelings, all about it. And let me introduce you. I will introduce her. So, because at this moment she's doing plenty of things. She's an introvert that do plenty of things, and she is impacting many people. Lígia Costa is a self-healing guide, soul-calling reader, podcaster, and the creator of the T.R.U.S.T pathway. So she is already here.
Welcome.
Hi.
Here. So I made a small introduction about how we met in the online space. We are both Portuguese, but you don't live here. And I was talking about we made some transitions, but
Yeah.
I was presenting you, but I feel it's better, you feel better, you communicate better. I believe we do so when we speak about us, right? So introduce yourselves, tell us what you do, who you help, all that stuff.
Hi, my name is Lígia Costa. As Andreia said, I'm Portuguese, but I live in Wales, in the UK, for the past almost 20, well, not in Wales, but in the UK for the past 20 years almost. And I'm a self-healing teacher and a soul guide, so I help women to reconnect with their soul essence, to find their soul's calling, and to lean into healing themselves, because everyone can be their own healer, and sometimes we just need that guidance to get started, to get curious about what other things are really holding us back and that are keeping us in cycles of ancestral trauma as well. So yeah, I'm a podcaster. I just launched a podcast 2 months ago, the Soul Story podcast. We talk about all of these. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we just talk about all of these spiritual self-healing themes, and also emotional psychology, which I'm very passionate about.
Yes, yes. But you didn't went right away to that path, right? It was a self-journey also, right? A self-knowledge journey. So tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial path.
I usually say, and I truly believe, that there isn't a much deeper self-development journey as becoming an entrepreneur. I think from the moment we start to run our own business, we have to deal with so much internally, because we can't take a client not buying, or a customer not buying, or sometimes be a bit rude with emails and requests and complaints. We can't take any of it personally, so we kind of have to deal with our own shadows and our own triggers, and try to separate ourselves from, dealing with these old business shenanigans. So yeah, I started my first business after I had my second child. So I think Martin was 2 at the time. So I was a stay-at-home mom. but I wanted to have something in my life more than just being a mom. Being in the UK on like just me and my husband and our 2 babies at the time was very isolating, and I didn't have any friends around, any family around, so all my identity was mom and wife. And I really missed being Lígia, being me. So I started my first business, was around doing decoupage boxes. Oh my god, that was such a long time ago. So I kind of decorated wooden boxes and you know, all of these little things, trinkets, as gifts, and I kind of decoupaged them and painted them, and yeah, it was a way as well of nurturing my creative side, which is really part of who I am. I'm very creative. And yeah, that started a long time ago. I didn't have a website. I used to like sell on fairs, like really like school fairs and church fairs and all of that, which wasn't very successful. And I used to sell on Folksy, which is like, I don't know if it still exists, but was like the Etsy kind of thing before the UK.
Yeah. I remember about something, yes.
Yeah, do you? I don't even know if it's still running though. But yeah, can you see like how long ago that was? And then at that time I was dealing with postnatal depression and chronic anxiety. That's when my mental health journey, I wouldn't say started, but when I was diagnosed. So I was seeking a therapist, and that kind of started me on the journey of doing my own inner work, and also getting really curious about all of this psychology and how the brain works and how the emotions are related to past traumas and things like that. But that was a journey. First I had like to heal myself, and that took well over 10 years for me to be in the place that I am now. And in the meantime, I'm transitioning again from doing decoupage boxes to starting my sewing business, and that's when I met you.
Yes.
And when I met you, I started to like sew accessories, like creating my own coin purses and my spec cases and notebooks and notebook covers and all of those things. And eventually I started designing my own fabrics as well. Again, that creativity wanted to talk. I was still a stay-at-home mom. I still am until this day. And yeah, so I was kind of developing and learning a lot about online business, marketing, branding, SEO, all of this world that is being an entrepreneur, whilst I was also doing my own inner work. And then oh yes, and then I had the stick business, the stationery business. Oh my god!
You started that along the way with the other, right? And then
Yes. At some point, I had the 2 business, but to be honest, I was really passionate about my sewing business, my handmade accessories. The thing was, once I started to create my own fabrics and having the business around just the, you know, exclusivity that it was to have my own prints, sales really slowed down because I couldn't just sell things for £5 or £10. The fabrics were quite expensive, and I started to realize it wasn't a sustainable business. But that yearning to create something exclusive and to design, like I really found again the passion that I had from childhood of, you know, drawing and painting and all of it. just, you know, made me transition to start making stationery, which is something that I love. Like I was a bookworm. I was like those nerd students when I was young. Like I was just a nerd. I loved to go to school. I love to learn. I love to have all of these stationery bits, like all of these notebooks and all of these different colored pens and all of those things. So yeah, I just brought that more into my life and my business, and that's when I created Oh Good Idea, which was all around making planner stickers and journaling stickers and other stationery to use in the journals and planners, but what was also around mental health. And that's when I brought my own story, my own experience with coping and battling with mental health into my work, in a way of people relating with, you know, with the journey, but also not feeling alone, not feeling like they were battling on themselves, to bring awareness about mental health, not in a shameful way, but more an empowerment and more positive way. And I absolutely love that business. And I do miss it. I do miss it a lot. It gave me the freedom to be creative, to be myself, not be ashamed of having postnatal depression or still battling chronic anxiety, which I still am till this day. But with COVID, COVID ruined so many things. With COVID, people stopped planning. People just didn't have anything to plan. So you were stuck at home doing nothing. What would you plan, right? So it kind of affected the business in a massive way. And that is the thing, when as much as we are passionate about what we do and our business, it's very easy to start resenting the business when we pour our hearts and souls into it and then there is nothing in return. And I wouldn't say like I was focused on the sales and the money, it's not that, but I needed to pay for the supplies. I needed to pay for my time, and you kind of, when you start feeling demotivated, it actually affects our creative flow and our connection as well with the business. And I started to feel disconnected. But I was also clinging to it because I really loved it. And there was this connection between my daughter and the actual business mascot, which was like the star of all the stationery that I created. So I had this little mascot that was representative of my daughter. She was 3 when we both created this little kawaii mascot, and it really hurt to let that go, you know. It was just a part of me and our story that was letting go, and it was quite painful. But at some point I realized I was clinging to it. I was trying to force something to work, and as we are probably going to touch on this, is like the flow wasn't happening. And when we start feeling that resistance and when we start to feeling that lack of flow, it is normally a sign that we are not on the right path, that we are trying so hard to make something work, but if it's not moving, it's a sign that it's not meant to. It's not meant to move, because we are not embodying our soul's calling. So in between that, I lost my dad. I lost my dad in a terrible car accident. If you live in Portugal, you probably saw on the news, it was on TV.
I don't see news.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like for
I
for
follow
your,
you. Yes.
yeah, it was really bad. And because it was so unexpected as well, it kind of sent me into this dark night of the soul, which basically, a dark night of the soul is basically when we go really, really into the dark, when we lose our the ground beneath our feet, is when we can't find the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's like, it was a really hard journey, because not only was I grieving the loss of my dad, I was also grieving myself, the part of me that lost the identity of being a daughter, the part of me that didn't have a dad anymore. And then all of the things that he brought from, family interactions and things like that normally, a death in the family always brings. So it was really hard. And what made me realize was, life is too short for us not to live our own, like our potential, and to chase our desires, to chase our dreams. And I realized that for such a long time, I repressed that part of me that was very, very spiritual. Since I was a young child, I've been very attuned with other people's emotions, with with having premonitions through dreams. And I kind of repressed that because I was being abused at home. So I had that childhood trauma of, being abused at home, and then being bullied at school. So I didn't want to be more bullied because I was the weird one that could predict things through dreams. So I kind of just repressed that. And I also believe that part of the depression was because I was repressing so much of my own soul essence. I was repressing who I truly am. Yeah, with the loss of my dad, I kind of went through this very dark night of the soul, which is a very spiritual journey that we go through, where I start questioning a lot. Who am I? What am I doing here? What's the purpose? Why is this happening to me? Why things happen the way they did since I was a child? And started to reframe things, and then things don't happen to us. They happen for us. So I start asking myself, instead of what has happened to me, why has this happened for me? What is the lesson here? What can I learn from it? What can I take from this and just try and be the best version of myself, and make it in a way that I will leave a legacy that I'm proud of. And although I was already embodying my spiritual side through the stationery business that I had, I started to incorporate a lot more of, spiritual in my designs, like with themes of moon and oracle and things like that. I started to incorporate that. But I wanted to impact people more. I wanted people that are ready, not everyone is, but people who are actually ready to embark on their healing journey, to not feel alone. Because I remember when I went through that, I didn't know anyone that could help me with that. It was a very, and it is a very lonely journey. and it is very individual and it's very lonely. But it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be alone when you are doing it. You know, it can be a very solitude journey, but you can be in a space where people create a safe space for you to go through this journey without judgment, without shame, but that just create that safe space. And I wanted to create that. I wanted people to get educated, because there is a lot of misconception about inner work and shadow work and the dark night of the soul. There is a lot of misconception, and people are quite scared to get curious and actually start to explore their own traumas and explore the shadow aspects of themselves, which basically we all are. We are both light and dark. There is this duality. We all heard about the yin and the yang. We are all dark and light. So we have within ourselves shadow aspects and golden aspects. So the golden aspects are all the talents, the skills, the passions, and all the good things that we can embody, not always embody. That is the thing. Sometimes we don't believe in ourselves enough to see that we have those skills and those talents and those gifts. And then we have the shadow aspects, which are the things that we were conditioned through culture, through society, through family, through even ancestral trauma. We were conditioned to believe it's wrong about us. And so we repress it, we are ashamed of it, we feel guilty about it, we don't show that to people. Even sometimes we hide it from ourselves, and it's really hard to admit that actually, yes, I can be egocentric, or I can be selfish, or I can be a bit rude sometimes. Like we don't admit those things, but it shows. It shows in our interactions with other people, because when we don't accept a personality trait or a behavior in someone else, it's normally a projection of something that we have inside and that we don't accept about ourselves. And
Yes.
yeah. So
No,
yeah.
and this I want to tackle several things you said, but this one is true. Many times we don't like something in us. It's related, and we don't like that, and we want to people not see it. But people only repair on that specific thing if they also give attention to it. So many times we try to, even not showing up for our business because we don't like to see ourselves on camera because X and Y, right? But others will only pay attention to that if they pay attention to that. It's like, for instance, I already have wrinkles. There are women that don't like to show up or use filters or use makeup because they don't. It's not just for them to feel better, but they want to disguise things, right? But others will only pay attention to that or want to prove that if they don't approve that on themselves previously, right?
True.
So and this, it's like having the stain in the clothes, in the clothing, right? Sometimes, oh my gosh, I have and no one repairs.
Yeah, no one notices until we mention it.
It's like that. It's like that. So let me go back here. I can sure relate mostly with the last one when you started to feel resentful. I went through the same in my past business. I was so happy and connected, and I wanted to bring something different, not my jewelry or all handmade, and I wanted to bring something special and unique, and not use the type of techniques others used. And this increases the prices. And also I understood that it wasn't sustainable, because mostly because the material I was using, if I wouldn't make the process all at once, the the material many times went to garbage, and I couldn't put that on the price of the item, and I was losing money, right? But then during my process, self-learning, self-knowledge process of understanding that showing up for my business made a difference, because for who is watching and don't know, I suffered from severe anxiety to go on camera for over 10 years, and at the time I wouldn't even consider it video. It was only taking pictures. Just the fact of needing to take pictures, it was a mess, right? And friends, mostly at the time when this happened, I didn't have a business, but friends who judge, would think that I was asking for attention, and I would feel even worse, right? And when I started the business, I was slowly working on that, because, okay, I was running away of situations where I would need to take pictures, so I would run away from that. But when I started my second business, my first online business, 3 years after I started, I wasn't showing up, but I was seeing what the difference it made in other business. And I told it to myself, okay, you need to do this and take action.
Yeah.
So for things to change, things need to change, right? And during I needed to make the process faster and put myself out there, enlarging my comfort zone, and I done that alone. And it's like you said, it's hard when we do that alone, right? That's why now I bring that to help others, so they don't need to go through the process alone. And it makes a difference. And during the process, I understood another passion. We entrepreneurs need to tackle all the things about business, right? And I started to see that I'm also very creative, and I like to understand how things work, the backside of things, and I got very passionate about that. And I started to help other colleagues, and I realized that I was passing more time helping their business than my own. I started to get resentful, because the business, I was losing lots of money. It was kind of as costly hobby. The word was missing. It was like a costly hobby, and but I was so very attached to it, and I still got about 1 year, half, 2 years about forcing it, but it wasn't in the flow. And I needed to bring more things, more collections. I launched collections, and things weren't flowing, and I was getting even more how is the word, resentful. I was getting even more resentful about the business, but I wouldn't let it go, and it started to impact also how I was showing up for my business. Did you notice that also on your business?
Yes, absolutely. I remember during COVID, I run about 2 events in my Facebook group where I brought a lot of people to kind of help in the group, and the group was really engaged. You know, people really loved it. And that's when I started as well with I took my certification as journaling therapy coach, and that's when I started to actually create courses and workshops around journaling. But because the people in the group were into stationery and not so much about self-development, not all of them, some were, and they are still following my journey, but mostly they didn't. And so I started to hide. I was like, oh, I don't know who I'm talking to anymore. I don't feel they resonate with me anymore. And I start hiding and not showing like on lives and not doing so much behind the scenes, which I used to do a lot, showing the process of, creating the planner stickers or whatever I was creating at the time. And again, was impacting my creativity, because every week I had to come up with new designs. So I kind of launched every week, which is a bit tiring as well, but I think it's just the way that niche works. And seeing other stationery shops, which the planner community is still huge, they were also launching every week. So you kind of have to be on top of your game, otherwise, you lose traction. Mm-hmm. And at some point, I started to get really burnt out. And the creativity, the creating the new designs or creating new collections, sometimes I would launch boxes, stationery boxes with lots of things, started to be forced, because I had to, otherwise, I couldn't pay my bills. Rather than, oh, I just channeled this. I just had this creative flow and I just did this and I'm going with it. And at some point there is this misalignment there, that you feel something is not really working, but you just push it and you push it and you force it as much as you can. Oh no, it must be me. It must be my marketing that isn't working, or it must be the blooming algorithm that is not working and is not showing my posts, or there is a lot of competition. So we bring all these narratives. Oh, it's the economy, it's the competition, it's the algorithm, it's this and that, when in fact it's just us, and everything else that is happening externally is just mirroring to us the conflicts are inside of us. And mm-hmm. At the time I was in a huge conflict between, should I just let this go and just jump onto something that I don't know if it's going to work or not, and just go with it and just follow what I've been feeling called to do, or should I really be more strategic and down to earth and just get stuck with this and see where it takes me. So yeah, it does affect the way we show up and everything else, the creativity, the productivity. I started procrastinating doing things, self-sabotaging my potential.
Yeah. Yes, I get that. And I also went through that, because, oh my gosh, it was so, the need to, I need to, and it's everything, we do everything, and this is not working. We put the blame in outside stuff, when we need to go inside and see what happens and know ourselves, because many things we do, we see others doing something, okay, it's working for them, let's try this, right? But yeah, it's not that it doesn't work for you because you are doing things wrong. Many times it's because that thing is not in alignment with who you are. And exactly. When things are not in alignment, you can push it, and it won't work. And you will think that the problem is you because it works with everyone, right? But the problem isn't you. It's like in clothing. I bring this example a lot, right? I work with this because even in clothing, the problem is not you, is the clothing that is not the one that aligns with you, right? The cut, the style, whatsoever. And in business is also the same thing. And there are many techniques there out there, and I see many people do all things, and people keep doing them. And many of them, we cringe and, oh my God, I know what we are doing, right? And we cringe, but people keep doing that is because it works for someone. It's in alignment with that people. Doesn't mean in some point probably you will need to try some things to see if in alignment, because there are things that from the outside we can notice, okay, this is not in alignment with my values, with my beliefs, with what I want to do and what I want to bring. But there are other things that we need to try and to see. Okay, it seems something, but actually it's something different, and no, it doesn't align. And yes, that's why I wanted to bring it, because I believe, like it happened with both of us. There are women out there that are not showing up for their business because probably they are in misalignment with where the business is at the moment, what they are trying to do with the business. And many times it needs to be lucrative, right? But if we only think about the money, many times we will do the wrong actions, take the wrong strategies, because we only focus on that, and we don't focus on knowing ourselves, knowing our client, like you were saying, that I feel that they are not in alignment with what I'm bringing, right? And I was like that also, because when I switched from the last business to this one, I kept working with the past, with the IG account on that.
I remember.
I wasn't I knew what I wanted to bring, but I thought, okay, I have plenty of business owners following me. Probably they will fit, but I was not very clear on that. And later I realized, okay, I need to put this down. And at the moment I was very concerned also. Oh, I have so many people here, but many of those people were not in alignment, and I was deleting content, I was deleting followers, and I was wasting time, right? I was getting busy but not productive, right?
Yeah.
And yes, and it's so important also to understand that we don't need that many people to start impacting. And there are still out there many people thinking that they need the follows, they need the likes, they need the comments to make an impact, and they get demotivated by it, and probably it gets on a lack of productivity. They start to postpone doing things, they start to get out of an alignment, but it starts to see if the business is in alignment with us, right?
Yeah, I believe. Well, I just wanted to make it clear. Just because something is like, if you're struggling to make the business work, for everyone that is listening, it doesn't always mean that you need to change paths.
Oh, yes.
It's like that. It's like Andreia was saying, sometimes we do something because something is working for someone else. So, okay, let's try it. Some other times it's because we like hire the coach and we learn a lot from that coach. And obviously that coach, in their best intentions, they explain to us what is working, and then we try it, but it doesn't sit right with us because it's not in alignment with who we are, with our values, with our priorities. For example, I tried for so many times to do outreach. But I hate it. I don't like to send DMs to people. I don't like to beg for people to work with me. So I know that that strategy works for a lot of people, and that's why they are having clients. And apparently this year has been so impactful for business in a negative way. Even you know, 6-figure, 7-figure business, they felt the impact this year. And what most coaches say is what worked for them was to do the outreach. But for me to do outreach, I'm not saying I can't do it, but it has to be because I actually feel connected with that person. I just can't connect or send a message to someone just to make a sale at the end. It doesn't sit right with me. I don't like it. I've tried it. It doesn't work. So I kind of put in my head, it's okay. Your business might not grow as fast because you're not doing this thing that everyone else is doing, but at least you're not acting out of integrity with your values, with the things that you're comfortable with. So it might be that as well. Like, we all know that video content is the thing that is working mostly. We know that Reels have more engagement. We know that TikTok got viral because of the videos. But it doesn't mean it's the right thing for you to do. If you don't like to show on camera, if you feel it's icky or cringy to make a dance or lip sync or whatever, don't do it. You don't have to. We have to make what works for us, that it's in alignment with who we are at a deep level. And that's when people resonate. We don't need to do it what everyone else is doing. And I was about to say something else that you mentioned about this lack of alignment. Oh, what did you say? Oh my gosh, I hate when this happens.
Yes, it happens with me a lot. Let me see. I talk about feeling if the business was in alignment.
So no, I know that was something that when you were talking, I was like, yeah, that's a good point. And then, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah. That's why I make notes. I also talk about trying things in some point. It's normal to try things. Like you were talking about the reels, dancing. Something. Also, I love dancing. I'm not been dancing a lot lately, but I love dancing. But dance, you don't see me dancing on reels. It's not. It's something I see from the outside that it's not what I want to bring. Is not in alignment. But the lip sync, for instance, I try it because I'm creative and I thought it was funny and I didn't need to put my voice always on it. It was like when I started, it was a little bit like that, lip syncing, because I didn't need it to bring my voice, make the mistakes I do, talking in English, forgetting words, and all those things, and my tongue going all over the place. It was safe. But then I started to enlarge my comfort zone, and I tried other things. And once I tried other things, the lip sync didn't got in alignment. Sometimes we need to try to understand what fits, and you are worthy to change your mind also, right? Because something that
that's
you
the
like
thing that
now,
I was wanting to say. I remember.
yeah. Sorry, just
No, carry on.
let me finish. Something you like now, something you value now, seeing from different perspectives, you may change thoughts, right? And even beliefs that you have from childhood, nowadays probably you don't have the same belief. You change, you saw other perspectives for the same thing, and you changed how you see things. So,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. the fact that sometimes things don't flow in our business is because we are always changing and always in a process of expansion and evolution. And the more we work on our self-development and the more we work in ourselves and the more we become, you know, these entrepreneur or soulpreneur, you know, trying to help people and working on us and learning all of these variations of the business, we grow, we expand as persons, as people, and as business owners. So sometimes the misalignment comes from that. We are trying to cater for the same people when we started out. We try to deliver the same message, or we try to deliver the same on the same methods that we used to before. And although we are evolving, we are not allowing the business to evolve with us, because we feel guilty. Oh, I don't want to let them down. I don't want to let my previous customers or clients down. Or if I try this, what they are going to think about me. And so we kind of stay stuck. And although we are evolving, we are not letting the business to evolve with us. And that's when the resentment happens as well. Because that resistance for embracing and allowing the business to grow with us and realizing that it's okay when previous customers stop resonating with you. It is okay if the numbers on your likes or your followers are not increasing or are actually decreasing. It doesn't matter. That's vanity numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We get so stuck with the vanity numbers, how many followers we have. We put a post, oh, no one liked, or just one person or two people, you know, like the post or comment on the post. And it feels disheartening sometimes, because we put so much time and so much of our passion into writing sometimes lengthy, educative posts, and it's crickets.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean people didn't read it. Most people read it, but they don't interact with the post. And that's how...
Sorry, I was just saying there are plenty of people out there following us without clicking the follow button.
Yeah.
They are consuming our content, and many times are those lurkers that invest in us and we don't even know from where they came from.
Exactly, because they are following us, we just don't know about it. So instead of focusing on the vanity numbers, we have to focus on our mission, on our why. That's the strongest part of the business, and is what is going to help us go through the times that we feel like things are not working. We just have to always audit with ourselves if our messaging, if the work we are bringing into the world, it's still resonating with what we desire to bring, what we are, who we are now, because we keep changing, we keep evolving. And if it is, then the clients will come, and then the fruits of the labor will come. Instead of focusing on not having likes or things not working. And I'm guilty of that as well. I'm not saying like, no, I had to learn to be okay with it. And it took me a while, you know, it took me like logging into my Instagram. Oh, I lost 5 followers overnight. Why? and I used to have like an app actually that will tell me who unfollowed me. I used to be that person.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's so much anxiety.
Oh my gosh, so stuck into who is not following me? Who is that person that's not following me? Who did I upset in my previous post to click the unfollow button? Who was that person?
I used to do that on my mailing list, see who went out, but nowadays, and yeah, nowadays and you can see that here my IG account hasn't grown that much because I'm always deleting or blocking people because there are plenty of people using techniques that I was taught to about 2014, and I see them like every post, right? And I see who they are, and okay, I don't want you in my word block. Nowadays, I'm like that because I see they are not aligned clients. I see what they are trying to do, and so I prevent them from reaching out again.
And that, like, I was the same with the mailing list. I was the same with the mailing list. I used to get like, it used to stop me from sending newsletters to think if I send too many emails, someone is going to unfollow, like to unsubscribe. And sometimes it happens, but I'm like, I'm not going to let that stop me. So I started slowly. When I started this new business, I put the challenge. I challenged myself to send at least one email a month. So I started the Alchemy Hour that I send every month. That gives value. Basically, it has a collective reading. It talks about the planets. It gives journaling prompts. It gives affirmations. So I give a lot of value on that because I want people to be on my email list, but not just for the sales emails. I want them actually to look forward to get the emails. And obviously when I was launching, I used to send like those, more emails. Obviously in launch times we always send more emails, and I would get people unsubscribe to those emails. And when I clicked on the name, I was like, okay, so you've opened all the emails giving value. And when I'm trying to sell, you unsubscribe straight away. So at first, I got triggered. I was like, oh, this is really frustrating. Like, seriously. You can't just not open the email if you're not interested. But why unsubscribe? And I used to feel really, really triggered with this, to the point that I was like, oh, I'm not going to send more emails then. Because every time I send an email selling, someone unsubscribes. And that holds me back a lot of the times. But now, as I see it, is if someone unsubscribes to my list, I send them well. Like, okay, I send them well. You're creating space for my soul clients to come into my world. Because, if someone unsubscribes when we are sending salish, like more salish emails, they were never going to buy in the first place. They were never there to become our clients or to support our business in that way. They were just wanting to get as much as they could, and not be there to support. And what I mean about support is just not buying, but opening an email. It helps to support a small business because it tells the conversions that the email's been open. So the more emails are open, the less those emails were going to end up in the junk email, which then nobody sees. So it can be helpful that way. But when someone reported as spam or unsubscribe, I used to get really annoyed. Like, oh, why did you do that?
But sometimes I unsubscribe, not because I don't like, but because I don't have the time to read. So instead of not opening, I do batch opening. From time to time I search for someone and batch opening and read all at once. But when I see that there are people that send more emails, and I I lose track of it, I unsubscribe. Not because I don't like, because I follow in other places. I keep them in my mind for when I need them, but I unsubscribe to help them, so their emails get sent and not go to the spam folder. And yes, and when people do that, I even appreciate when they unsubscribe, because it's not that they are in totally in disalignment or an alignment with us, but probably because I don't send that. I usually it's 1 a week, unless I'm launching something, right? But yes, but I use it to feel that way also.
Yeah.
Yes,
We always feel like a bit of rejection, isn't it? Like it triggers the rejection wound. Oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong to upset someone? Like we always feel this more is personal, and it isn't. And it isn't, and that's why I say, you know, being an entrepreneur, it's working on our self-development all the time, because we really need to face these triggers and really understand, is this personal or is it not? Most times it's not.
yes, most time it's not, and we need to understand that we need to work very much on our ego, right? And this
Yes.
also this is also something that prevents many women from showing up, is the fear of judgment. And
Yes.
one thing that we need to understand, and I took some time to understand this, but that, it wasn't that I was getting bad judgment or whatsoever. But we feel that, oh, if someone tells us something, but normally it tells more about the person that is saying that than about us, right? They get triggered by something.
Oh
It's
yes.
not that we are wrong with what we do. There are so many types of personalities, so each of us go through so many different situations in our lives that impact how we see things. That the same thing that for us is black, for other person is white.
Yeah.
In a way to speak, right? There are different perspectives and views for the same thing, and once we realize this, it's very important to don't take judgments personal, because many times it speaks more from of the other person than about us. And I wanted to bring something you told about the business evolving as we evolve also, because it's so important. Because I realized that when I went through my path of getting more comfortable on camera, overcome my anxiety and all those things, I went to learn how to pose, how to use body language, how to. I got certified as an image and style consultant, knowing colors, psychology, all the stuff. Then I love that again. I love to understand how things work, the backside of things, not just use that because. But
Yeah.
why do I need to? I
I'm
love
like
that.
that.
I love that, and I understood that I was loving learning all of that stuff, and I understood that I was looking for that specific things because I was trying to have that. I was comparing to others, and I wanted to have that polished look, the professional look, all going to the perfect, and it was so overwhelming. And I was looking, and I know many people is looking for the authenticity, that bring authenticity, you need to be authentic, right?
Yeah.
The outside and not in inside. And once I understood that, I evolved and my business also evolved. The message of my business also evolved. I still bring these things, but not for women to have that professional. If they want, they want. I can help them with that, but it needs to be in alignment with them. Because if they are trying to be something they are not, it won't work. It will get some point that it won't work. And about photo posing, it's not for them to look like models, but it's for them to understand, because I see this a lot, and even seven-figure coaches that make photo shootings with professional photographers, and they're the way they are posing is not in alignment with their true nature. Is taking their power away, and I see that a lot. And that's why I bring also that for women to understand how they align their message, their unspoken message, right? Because all speaks, and how they can bring that in a way that is in alignment, and they feel they are always in alignment, and they are not pushing themselves to show up as something they are not. And I wanted to bring that also. Yes. Do you want to share any more insight about our conversation?
Yeah, I know. I put it down here. The competition side of it, more like the comparing. For example, when I mentioned that sometimes the way we are running our business is probably not changing and evolving as we are on an individual level, and that we try to do all of the things that everyone else is doing, or because our coach or whatever we learned that we should do this because it's the way that it's working out for everyone. But we don't know. We start comparing things because we look online and we think, oh, this person did this post or this reel and it got so much interaction, it must be working. And then we do it and it didn't work. And then we think we are failing for some reason. Like, I did something wrong, that's why it's not working for me. I've tried everything. And all these other people are, they are selling and they are having clients all the time and they this and this and this. But we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know, especially on Instagram.
We only see what people want us to show us.
Exactly. And so many photos shoot their photos. We think they are traveling around the world or they are doing this, and it's not true. And people say whatever they want to say. They can say they are fully booked or they are making 7-8 figure months, and it might be true, it might not be true. So instead of trying for us to start comparing ourselves and feeling like failures because our business is not working, and the alignment, that there isn't an alignment there. Most times the misalignment is because we are trying so hard to be on the same lane as someone else. We have to be on our own lane. Instead of comparing our growth to other people, we have to just look back and compare our growth to who we were yesterday.
Totally.
2 months ago.
We are our competitors. There isn't competition, right?
Exactly.
We need to be our own competitors and see how much we already grow.
Yes.
Because many times we only see forward, we see the stair we want to climb, right? And
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I need to climb so many steps still. But we don't
focus. That's the thing. We focus on the destination. We are like, when I get to that point, then I'll be happy. Then the business will work. Then I'll be successful. Then I'll feel fulfilled. And the magic, the alchemy of our transformation and our expansion, both as individuals and as business owners, is on the journey, is not on the destination, is celebrating all the milestones, is actually stopping to smell the flowers and not focusing so much on the finish line.
Yeah, totally, totally. Some years ago, this wouldn't be possible for me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just thinking about, oh my gosh, there will be the time that they want to take pictures. Just thinking about, oh my gosh, I feel it. I start to feel it. It was, oh my gosh. And now I'm here with you, and I've been bringing so many and connecting with so many wonderful women. And I want to bring something about what you said about looking aside and comparing, because our brain is very smart, right? And he wants to prove us that we are right or wrong. It depends in what he agrees. And if we see that someone is doing that and is working, he will start to search for others that are doing the same. And you will feel that, oh, I'm not doing that, and all the world is seeing. And the algorithm, it's a little bit like our brain, right? Once you saw that, he will show you more about that.
Absolutely.
And you see one person, two people, three people, and you see all the world is doing this. I have a coach that says people count 1, 2, many. And you see 1, 2, many people. How many? I don't know. Many. What's many? And it's like that. Our brain and algorithm, you need to break the pattern, right? And okay, what's different? What's other possibilities out there? Because when, like Tony Robbins says, attention goes where, no, energy goes where attention flows. No, energy flows where attention goes. That's right. Yeah. And it's true. Because if we focus on that person and the other person are doing that, all people are doing that. But no, right? And we need to understand, and it's important to see what people are doing, but understand what fits our essence, what fits our business, what aligned with the values and the what we want to bring to our business and to our people, right?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Alignment. Some people might not understand really what alignment is, or became such a buzzword as well. Like,
yes.
Everyone is using.
I'm feeling that. Oh my gosh! Here I go.
Yeah, but it's not. I use it a lot as well because it's part of what I talk about. With my niche. But what alignment or misalignment really means is just being true to ourselves. Just being true to ourselves. If we don't like something, don't do it. If you like something, do more of it. Be comfortable in your own skin. Be comfortable in your own clothes. Work on yourself all the time. Because, as you were saying, we see one too many people doing this. Oh, then let me go and do it as well. Let me be off like a sheep and just follow. Just follow the herd and do what everyone else is doing. But most times, if it's something that we don't feel comfortable with, obviously we always have to challenge ourselves. And this conversation, I don't think it's about not doing that, not challenging ourselves. because challenging ourselves is what is going to propel us to grow. However, when we do challenge ourselves and we try something 1, 2, maybe 3 times, and we just feel in our bodies that it doesn't sit well, that doesn't feel good, we feel a contraction rather than an expansion. We feel like, no, uncomfortable, I don't like this. Like when I when I used to have to do outreach. No, don't do it. That's a sign that it's not in alignment, is not who you are.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not being true to who you are, to what you value. For instance, I realized why I don't like outreach. Because I don't like to be sent cold messages.
Totally.
If I don't like it, why should I do it to others? I never liked, people to come knocking on my door, leaving the leaflets for church or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have the, I don't remember the name in English now, but you know what I mean, like.
See, yes. The people church.
Yeah,
Yes.
they come and yes, I'm Catholic already. Like I'm fine. Like I don't need you to come and knock on my door to make me change my mind, change my religion. No thanks. I never liked receiving phone calls to sell me something, those spam phone calls. It might be a condition. It might be. It might be that we were conditioned with, having uninvited people coming and phoning us and knocking on our doors and trying to sell us something and all the scams we heard about. It might be a condition that make me not like it. Yes, it's true. Maybe there is a deeper want there or deeper belief there that I need to work on, but it feels icky. So I don't feel comfortable doing the same. Just, oh, how are you? Oh, I'm doing good. And then you pretend that you're having a conversation. It's just, it's just feel, I feel sick just talking about it because it's not who I am. And that's one of the things that really irritates me is with these fake accounts that are, just coming up and pretending to be me and sending messages to people with offering free readings, which are quite unsettling. I feel really sick just thinking about it because I would never in a million years do that. I would never send cold messages to anyone offering readings. No. And second, just being uninvited and being pushy. No, it just makes me sick. It just really makes me sick. And so I decided I'm not going to do it. Our business have to work for us. Our business have to work for our personal life and our personal goals, not the other way around. And sometimes we get so focused on making the business work that we change everything in our personal life and our personal values and our integrity to fit the business. And it shouldn't be like this. Our business is there to support our dreams. Our business is there to be an expression of our soul essence, an expression of our creativity, an extension of our personal life, our personal values, and not the other way around. Because I don't believe we are two separate people. I don't believe who we are as individuals in our personal lives, in our personal relationships, and who we are with our clients and the way we run our business is different. Obviously, we can be a little bit more professional or a little bit more pragmatic with our decisions. However, who we are as people is who we are as business owners.
Yes, totally.
I don't believe there is two separate people here. Yes, you can put the hat on, the business hat on, and the mom hat on, and all those are roles.
Yes, we
those
have
are roles we play.
Yes.
But who we truly are, our soul essence, who we truly are ourselves, like in truth, I don't believe we can be two separate people. I believe we are one. So if we are one, why we are trying to be someone else in our business? It doesn't make sense. We just have to be authentically. We are in our personal interactions, in our personal life. That's it. That's being in alignment. And
Yes.
what misalignment is when the business persona and the personal persona, it's clashing. When you're faking, when you fake till you make it, I don't believe in that saying at all.
Yes.
Keep it real. Is keep it real until you heal, for example. It's like, seriously, it's just don't fake
Yes.
until make it. Yeah.
And I understood that. I understood that. Again, I was looking for perfection, right? Faking until you make it. And in my past business also, I was trying to look for an aesthetic that was not in alignment with the business itself, because I was looking for the professional look, to look all on point, all of that. And it's more like to become, because we want to become something, someone, right? But we need to be first, because if you want to become first, again, it will be misalignment, and it will bring resentful, the resentful side, right? And being in our true, it needs to be work to be done. It can be pushy. It's not pushy, I wanted to say, but it can bring many feelings around. But it's very necessary, because many times people start business only focusing on the business side, right?
Yes.
And they forget about themselves, and they are, like you said, they are part of the business, right?
And that, I think that's a learning journey. I think that's a learning journey. I don't know about you, but with me, I learned it. You know, I didn't know that when I first started 13 years ago. I didn't know that. I was focusing on the business. Yes, I was focusing on the sales, on getting clients, on paying at least the supplies and the business costs. I think that's a normal process. And that's why I say being an entrepreneur is working on our self-development all the time. And there isn't a better way to start working on our self-development than becoming an entrepreneur. But just going back to what you said, be until you become. I don't agree totally with it, because I don't agree that we become something. I agree that we remember who we are.
I like that.
We forget, you know, with our conditioning, we grow up and we try to be someone else to please other people, right? Our parents, our teachers, our siblings, boyfriends slash girlfriends or partners, friendships, in order to belong, in order to fit in order to be approved of, in order to be loved, and to feel that we are worthy and good enough, we adapt and we identify with certain personalities or certain behaviors, just so we feel loved and we feel that we belong. But when we start to actually doing the inner work and doing our self-development, and we start to really uncover what really matters to us, who we really like, the things that we really like, our passions, our talents, our skills, it's a journey not of becoming someone else. It's a journey of remembering who we were before all those roles, all those identities, all of those shiftings and adaptations that we created in order to belong to a group, belong to a family, belong to something. that make you feel
I like
safe.
that perspective. Yes, but we also evolve, right?
Yes, we evolve
In the
in order
process
to
of evolving.
remember who we were. Because when we were born, we didn't have any of these conditions.
Yeah.
You didn't believe that you weren't good enough. You didn't believe that you were too much. When we were babies, we cry, not yes to get attention, because our basic needs as humans is to be loved, is to be nurtured, and obviously then you have the survival, like feel safe, you'll feel fed and be cleaned. So babies can't communicate that, so they cry. But they don't think, I'm making too much noise, I'm going to stop crying now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they voice their opinions. That's why we say, like, children are very pure, because they voice their opinions. When they start walking, they fall so many times and they never think they are failing. They get up again. We were these babies. We were, but we forget. Because then with the conditioning, the culture, the ancestral, or so many conditions that we go through, we believe that we're failing. Oh, the business is not working now, I'm going to give up. I'm failing. But we forget, like when we were a baby, a toddler, starting to walk, how many falls? Or when we started to ride the bike, how many falls? But we never gave up. So yes, we evolve, we expand to remember who we were, the soul, when we were children and we were pure and we were whole. We were whole when we were babies. And then obviously we start like separating and breaking. And life sometimes is hard and trauma happens and it breaks our soul more and more and more. But when we actually do the inner work and we get curious about who we are and why we're here, what is the purpose, what is the meaning, what we value, what we prioritize, then we remember how whole we were. And we want to go back to it. That's why as we age and we witness this so many times with, for example, our grandparents, as they age, they slow down. They become more caring. They start noticing the beauty of the world, like the leaves falling out of the trees and little things that we lose that wonder. Right? As adults, we start losing that wonder, and then we go actually back to that childlike wonder. And we see that with our grandparents, how patient they are with their grandchildren, and they didn't have that patience and with their own children.
Yes.
So I think
it's
a
make
process.
that step back and wonder with things. I like that, but again, it's about the personality also, right?
Yes, of course it is. But yeah, there is this sort of misconception that some people like they are, we know them as adults and we think they are really mean, and probably we forget that they weren't like that when they were born. Obviously, we probably didn't met them at that time, but it's just how things happened throughout their lives, and this is going to another level of things. We probably in another discussion we can talk about this, but it also depends on the contract, our soul contract, what we chose to live in this lifetime to learn our lessons at a karmic level. But no one is born broken. No one is born bad. All babies are pure. It's just how things unfold throughout the life and the willingness that the person has to work on their healing or ask for help to work on their healing. And sometimes that willingness or that capacity to even be aware is not there. and that's why they develop this personality that we might think, oh, this person is really bad, but they just allow themselves to be that person. And again, it connects with the soul contract. But I don't believe no one comes into this earth to be bad.
I like that about we allow ours. And the other day, there in a comment, there was a lady that told me that we allow ourselves to that, and I told her, and we need to give us permission to permit ourselves to see other perspectives. And yes, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much. It was such an amazing conversation. I knew it would be. I have the best guests.
Oh.
So tell me, where can people find you? Not only here on Instagram, that we have your profile linked, but where can we find you?
So you can go to www.ligiacosta.co.uk, and you can find a lot of free resources there. So for instance, if you want to start working on your self-development and you want to give, for example, journaling a try, I have a free masterclass there that you can just, enroll and watch straight away. I have free guides as well on how to calm your mind, or signs that your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you, and things like that. So you can go to my website, get into these free resources. You go into my email list and you'll get the monthly alchemy hour email every month with, collective readings, journaling prompts, affirmations, and all of the good things. It also has a page dedicated for my podcast, the Soul Story Podcast. It's updated every week with the new episodes. It has the show notes for each episode, and it has the links where you can listen to the podcast on your favorite platform. So Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Alexa, and all of these places where you I said Alexa. She blinked. So all of these places where you prefer to listen to the podcast, you can listen there, or you can follow me here on Instagram. Make sure it's my account though.
Yes.
There's been plenty of fake people trying to pretend to be me and sending unsolicited messages. It's not me. I would never do that. Yeah, I am Lígia Costa is my Instagram, my TikTok as well. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, and I have loads and loads of free classes on these themes that you can watch and learn.
Okay, great. That's all great. So thank you again for being here. It was such a pleasure. I'm so thrilled and so happy with our conversation. It was really amazing.